Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Nick. I've been gone for a while now, but I am back. So glad to be back. Now today I'm going to be doing a video about Super Mario 64. This is one of my childhood games. Probably one of the most time I've spent on a game is probably Super Mario 64. It was released in the 90s. It was the first game to introduce camera angles. That was kind of weird for the time. The camera angles are a bit whack in the game, but I think that once you get used to them, they're pretty good. And the directional C buttons on the N64 really helps you in making Mario centered, but at some points, you know, the camera can be pretty bad, like any N64 game. First things first is the level design. Level design is awesome. You got some really cool levels, like the water level, for example, Bob-omb Battlefield, even the snow places I like the snow. It's pretty common for N64 games to have a mountain and then you ascend the mountain, get to the top of the mountain, and usually there's a boss in there that you have to beat. That same trope is still in today's games, and the fact that you can collect multiple things in the same level is awesome. How does Mario feel when you're controlling him? That is the main reason why the game is so good and so addictive. The control in Super Mario 64, I don't think it's ever been replicated. Like, I've played no other games. I've played Sunshine, I've played Galaxy. It feels not as tight as Super Mario 64, and if you've played a lot of the game, you will also agree with me on that. I hope you would. When you're like doing your running to backwards somersault or to side somersault to then a triple jump, that is like the best feeling in the world. I absolutely love that. So big reason why I love the game. It's awesome. Also, the flying in this game. I didn't even mention the caps. You get the metal cap, the wing cap, the invisible cap, can't remember what it's called, but the blue cap. And these caps give you different give you different abilities. So when you get the wing cap right, you have the ability to fly after a triple jump. Or if you go high enough in the air and you fall for long enough, you can also activate the fly, which is so cool, right? So some world you're like, oh, there's platforms I can't even get to. How the hell am I going to get up there? Well, get the wing cap. Come back with the wing cap. It unlocks even more replayability. Oh, the metal cap, right? I can't get to a door that's underwater. I'm Mario. I can only swim. I can't open doors underwater. I'm not made of metal. Well, now you are made of metal once you get the metal cap. And oh, let me tell you about the music that's played when you get the metal cap. It's sick and so fun and awesome and such a good composition of music. It's so good. And oh, what about the invisible cap? Well, the invisible cap isn't as fun as the other caps. I mean, you can run through like certain invisible objects and stuff like that, and you can't be, you're invincible to enemies. That's kind of cool, but like not as cool as the metal cap and the wing cap. My favorite being the wing cap. The fact that you're able to fly through the levels is so sick. So sick. Oh, and at the end of the game, you're like, what happens at the end of the game when you get all the stars? Every single star and all the secrets, 100 coin stars as well. Yoshi will give you a whole bunch of lives and then bam, you're good to go. You can play the game for as long as you want, but I just usually reset after that. If you don't get all the stars, then nothing happens and the game ends. Yeah, whatever. You don't unlock anything. It's not like you unlock a new skin or something, but it's still pretty cool. The dun. Dun, 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 dun. That is the best. The music in this game is so good. If you've never played Super Mario 64, you may think, oh, it's an old game. You know, why would I play an old game from the 90s? Like, it's garbage, it's trash, bro. Like, what are you even talking about? Well, Mario over the time has evolved, and in Odyssey, for example, if we compare Odyssey to Super Mario 64, they're very different in ways. They're similar and they're different. You know, you still get like the momentum when you run, when you're doing a long jump, when you do the pause, you still get that break sort of system. It's not as polished, I would say, as it is in Super Mario 64. I don't know if that was intentional though by the developers. I don't know if they really intended for it to be that good, you know, like I'm not sure if that was the goal that they had or how long they actually spent on development, because Mario Odyssey, like graphically wise and even gameplay wise, is sort of better than the game. Like, it's basically Super Mario 64 on steroids, which is sick. I spent a lot of time playing Odyssey. I played a lot of Odyssey. I played a lot of game throughs. I love the game, but I still find myself to this day, booting up Super Mario 64 and giving it a good old playthrough. When they released 3D All-Stars, which is the main Mario that I played, it's a different version of the game compared to the original. There's a few things that are a little bit different, But if you want the true experience, I would suggest playing the original game. The original one is the best. You can also play something like Render 96, which is also a mod that someone's made for Super Mario 64, which upgrades the textures 10 times better than 3D All-Stars did. It did a better job than Nintendo did, and a bunch of dudes in a room make a game or make a mod better than what Nintendo can. They can do what Nintendo don't, so take that as you will. The music is incredible. When you're at Dai Dai Docks and there's that mist that comes out, that is just such a beautiful moment. Or when you're racing the Koopa for the first time, Koopa Trooper, and you're like running down there. And I remember when I was a kid, didn't understand how the mechanics worked because I was a kid, and I would get so nervous with him like right behind me, like menacingly chasing me. It was terrifying, even though it's not a horror game, but it feels like it's scary as. You got later stages as well, like the sky stage, where potentially if you fall, you die, which in a sense increases the difficulty. Adding another layer of anxiety, I would say, because if you make one wrong mistake, or you jump too far, or you fall off something, bam, you're dead. Because there's not that much in the game, in the sense of there's a lot of just like open space. There's a few coins, maybe a few Koopas, and that's about it. Not even that many enemies, to be honest. Like there's only like 3 or 4 different enemies. Like it's not that complex compared to other games. It makes you focus more so on the mechanics and the movement of the game. Mario kind of controls like a boat. Like once he starts getting momentum, he's kind of hard to stop, or a train actually. Probably a train is a better example. Once he starts running really, really quick, you can get a lot of speed and you can get a lot of distance as well with your long jumps. I'm a big fan of Super Mario 64. It'll always have a special place in my heart. I'll always say that this is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. I mean, what else can I say about it? It's an absolute gem of a game. If you've never played it, you have to play it. If you like platformers, definitely play it. Donkey Kong 64 was the other video that I did a video about. The movement in Donkey Kong 64 cannot be compared to Super Mario 64. Absolutely blows it out of the park when it comes to movement. The jump to dive, you may think is simple, like, okay, you jump in the air, you do a dive, cool, whatever. The frontwards trajectory that you get and the speed that you get from the dive can make you get to places that you've never thought you could ever get before. Doing like a side somersault will get you like so much height, but then doing a wall jump off a side somersault will get you a lot more height. But then you're like, okay, if I have enough space, I can do a triple jump into the wall, jump off the wall, and then dive to get even more space, because if I don't do that, I'll lose momentum. It's all about momentum, this game. It's like a physics game, even though it's not supposed to be a physics game. A lot of speedrunners have figured this out. You can make Mario go really, really fast. Or if you don't really know what you're doing, you can make Mario run like he's an old person going home on a Sunday, getting their groceries. It is an easy game to play, yes. Anyone can pick up the controller. Your mum can pick up the controller and start playing it, whatever. To master this game takes a lot and a lot of time. And that's why I love the game, because you watch somebody else and you're like, wow, this person's so good because they're able to get enough momentum to get up there. And not just like straight exploits of the game, which is definitely a thing. Frame perfect jumps that you need to make, or frame perfect dives that you need to make. And I've tried to do some of them and they're really, really hard. Alice is really, really cool. I can do that a few times, but like that's probably like the limit as to what I can get to. Everything else is really, really hard. If you have never played this game, you need to play this game. Check it out. I'm not completely consumed by nostalgia that everything that I talk about that is old or was from my childhood is the best thing ever. No, there's flaws to the game, you know. The level design can kind of be shit, you know. There's not that many enemies, not like a whole lot to do once you've got all the stars. There's a lot of mods to this game that you can play where it expands upon it. There's like the Kaizo Mario mods as well that make the game even harder. If you got your little tippy toes like sort of dipped into the water, dip them even further, take a plunge, scratch that, take a plunge in that water, dive straight in head first, go deep into there. No, I'm not doing a Super Mario 64 deep dive or an iceberg. I'm not doing a Super Mario iceberg. Very, very good game. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Also subscribe as well if you want to. Up to you. All right, guys, that's me. I'm out. You know, it's your boy. Peace.